There, the mistakes are, when you make a mistake, it's large and very costly.
Boeing's in the news, their CEO has stepped down, Dave Calhoun. Does this fix the stock? Does this fix the company? Should people be buying it right now?
I don't know if they should be buying it, but I also think that it doesn't fix the issue, because I think what the issues that Boeing have had, I think suggest that there's a cultural problem within the company that is not easy to fix in a company of that size. The company, one of the great gems of U.S. corporate America, and had always been very focused on engineering first, safety first. And then over time, the culture changed. They moved their headquarters away from Seattle to Chicago, and there was a different focus, more on the bottom line. And of course, that's very dangerous when you're producing things like commercial airplanes. So to me, the stock might be a buy, but I think that the issues that these problems are exposing are much deeper and are going to take a revamp of the culture of the company, maybe to go back to its roots, for me to get really comfortable with buying the stock on more than some sort of speculation or a flyer.
Yeah, I watched the John Oliver piece on it, and it seemed to me like the engineers need to be listened to. Like that safety is the number one concern of the engineers, it seems, and that on a C-suite level, those concerns were maybe being overlooked or not prioritized in the grander scheme.
And I think in the way they once were at Boeing, because it really was a paragon of that. I mean, of that culture. And I think its business is very competitive, right? It feels like, I'm sure it feels like it's in some sort of death match between it and Airbus and Bombardier and everything else. Very competitive business. By the same token, you also have to realize that it's there. The mistakes are, when you make a mistake, it's large and very costly, right? So whereas if you're producing deodorant or something, it's the costs are not that great to making a mistake. Whereas if you're producing commercial airplanes, it's probably better to listen to the engineers a little bit more, even if it costs you more and costs you some short-term profits.
I feel like the government might have to step in and bail them out at some point, because it seems like they're just going to lose money hand over fist until.
Yeah, I don't know enough to know.
Yeah, me neither.
And whether that's the case, and I have to say, just as someone who's somewhat skeptical of large government, I would pray that it doesn't come to that, because I don't think that would result in necessarily better outcomes. One of the ironies is that Boeing has very strong relationships with the government. And one of the problems with very large government is that it tends to benefit very large companies who have the ability to lobby government, have the ability to write their own rules. And there's a certain amount of that with Boeing as well in terms of its own self-regulation. And so I would be skeptical of that relationship getting closer. As a matter of fact, I'd like to see the relationship get a little bit further apart, where the government regulators are not so close to the company. And I think, and again, let the kind of the justice of the markets mete out, or encourage the companies to do the right thing.